Every single day, elevators move more people than every airplane on Earth combined. Think about that for a second. Over 18 billion elevator rides happen worldwide every year, and in the United States alone, there are close to 1 million elevators quietly doing their job in office towers, hospitals, apartment buildings, and shopping malls. Behind every one of those rides is a person who installed it, maintains it, and keeps it from becoming a death trap. That person is an elevator mechanic, sometimes called an elevator constructor or elevator technician, and it might be one of the best-kept secrets in the American trades. We're talking about a career where the average person earns somewhere between $85,000 and $130,000 a year, sometimes more once overtime and specialty work get factored in. And here's the part that makes people's jaws drop. You don't need a 4-year college degree to get there. You need a paid apprenticeship, a strong work ethic, and a tolerance for tight spaces and heights. Let's break down exactly what it takes. Before we get into the how, let's talk about the why. Elevator mechanics are consistently ranked among the highest-paid tradespeople in the country, often out-earning electricians and plumbers with similar years of experience. The Bureau of Labor Statistics has repeatedly listed this occupation as one of the top-paying trade jobs that doesn't require a bachelor's degree. Why does it pay so well? A few reasons. First, the barrier to entry is genuinely difficult. This isn't a trade you can just wander into after a weekend course. It requires a lengthy, structured apprenticeship, and the dropout rate is high because the work is demanding. Second, the consequences of a mistake are severe. An elevator carries human lives in a moving steel box suspended by cables or pushed by hydraulics, and if something goes wrong, people can be seriously hurt or killed. That responsibility commands a premium wage. Third, the union that represents most elevator mechanics in North America, the International Union of Elevator Constructors, has negotiated strong wages and benefits for its members for over a century. On top of the base salary, most elevator mechanics get a full benefits package, a pension, health insurance, and a company vehicle or vehicle allowance, since much of the job involves driving between job sites. Overtime is common too because elevators break down at inconvenient times and someone has to be available to fix them. The job is a mix of construction and highly technical maintenance. On the construction side, mechanics install brand new elevator systems in buildings under construction, running everything from the guide rails and hoistways to the electrical and hydraulic systems that make the car move. On the maintenance side, they perform routine inspections, troubleshoot electrical and mechanical failures, and handle emergency callbacks when someone gets stuck between floors. Modern elevators are far more than a box on a cable. They involve complex computerized control systems, sensors, safety brakes, hydraulic pumps, and increasingly, smart building integration. A good elevator mechanic needs to understand electrical wiring diagrams, hydraulics, basic computer programming and diagnostics, and old-school mechanical systems, sometimes all within the same building, because older elevators from decades past are still running alongside brand new installations. It's also physical work. You'll be climbing ladders, working in elevator shafts, lifting heavy components, and sometimes working at significant heights or in cramped machine rooms. If you don't like tight, dark spaces or heights, this trade will test you early. Before you can even apply for an apprenticeship, there are some baseline requirements you need to meet. Most apprenticeship programs require that you are at least 18 years old, hold a high school diploma or a GED, and possess a valid driver's license, since you'll likely be traveling between job sites regularly. You'll also need to pass a background check and, in many cases, a drug test, since this is safety-sensitive work. Basic math skills are essential too. You don't need to be a math genius, but you do need to be comfortable with algebra, fractions, and basic geometry, because a lot of the work involves precise measurements, load calculations, and reading technical diagrams. Physical fitness matters as well. You should be able to lift at least 50 pounds, climb ladders, work in confined spaces, and have no severe fear of heights. Some programs also require you to pass an aptitude test, which typically covers mechanical reasoning, spatial awareness, and basic reading comprehension. This next part is the heart of the whole process. In the United States, the primary pathway into this trade is through a registered apprenticeship, most commonly run through the National Elevator Industry Educational Program, often just called the Apprenticeship Program of the Elevator Constructors Union. This program is a joint effort between the International Union of Elevator Constructors and the National Elevator Industry, representing the major elevator companies like Otis, Kohn, Schindler, and ThyssenKrupp. Getting in is competitive. You'll typically need to apply when a local union chapter opens its books, which doesn't happen constantly, so timing matters. When a chapter is accepting applications, you'll submit your paperwork, take an aptitude exam, and if you pass, you'll usually be called in for an interview. Some locals maintain a waiting list, and getting your name on it early can make a real difference. Once accepted, you are officially a paid apprentice. This is one of the biggest selling points of this trade compared to a traditional college path. Instead of paying tuition and taking on debt, you are earning money from day one while you learn. Starting apprentice wages typically run somewhere between 40 and 50% of a full mechanic's wage, and that percentage climbs steadily every 6 months to a year as you progress through the program. The apprenticeship itself generally lasts 4 years, and it combines paid, on-the-job training with structured classroom instruction. You'll spend the majority of your time working alongside a licensed journeyman mechanic on real job sites, learning everything from cable splicing and hydraulic systems to electrical troubleshooting and building code requirements. Alongside the field work, apprentices attend classroom sessions, sometimes in person and increasingly through online modules, covering topics like electrical theory, blueprint reading, elevator code standards, safety procedures, and the specific mechanical systems used by major manufacturers. You'll be tested periodically throughout the program, both on practical skills and written material, to ensure you're actually absorbing what you need to know. Each year of the apprenticeship builds on the last. In the first year, you're mostly assisting, learning tool use, safety protocols, and basic terminology. By the second and third years, you're taking on more independent tasks, learning to diagnose problems, and getting comfortable with the electrical and hydraulic systems. By the fourth year, you're essentially performing much of the work a full mechanic would do, just under supervision, preparing you for your final certification. Throughout these 4 years, your pay increases at set intervals, so by the time you finish, you're earning a wage close to that of a full journeyman mechanic, all without any student debt hanging over your head. Once you complete the apprenticeship, you don't automatically become a fully certified mechanic. Most states require elevator mechanics to hold a license or certification, and the specific requirements vary depending on where you live. Many states recognize the National Association of Elevator Contractors certification, known as the Certified Elevator Technician Credential, as the industry standard. To earn this certification, you generally need to complete an approved apprenticeship program, accumulate a minimum number of documented work hours, and pass a comprehensive written exam covering electrical theory, mechanical systems, codes, and safety standards. Some states also require a separate state-issued license on top of the national certification, so it's worth checking the specific requirements for wherever you plan to work. Once certified, you become a journeyman elevator mechanic, which is the point where your earning potential really takes off. This is when that $85,000 to $130,000 range becomes fully accessible, and depending on your location, overtime hours, and any specialized skills you develop, you can push well beyond that ceiling. Once you're a fully certified journeyman, the career doesn't stop there. Many mechanics choose to specialize in specific areas, like high-speed elevator systems used in skyscrapers, escalators, and moving walkways, or elevator modernization projects, which involve upgrading older systems with modern technology. Specialization often comes with higher pay and more interesting, technically demanding work. Others move into supervisory or management roles, becoming site supervisors, project managers, or trainers within their union local. Some experienced mechanics eventually start their own elevator maintenance and repair businesses, servicing smaller buildings independently or bidding on maintenance contracts. There's also the option of becoming an elevator inspector, a role that involves examining installed systems for code compliance and safety, typically requiring additional certification but offering a shift away from the physical demands of hands-on mechanical work. This career suits people who like working with their hands, enjoy solving mechanical and electrical puzzles, and don't mind physically demanding work in sometimes uncomfortable conditions. It also rewards patience, since the 4-year apprenticeship is a real commitment, not a quick certificate program. If you're the kind of person who gets satisfaction from fixing something that was broken, who doesn't panic in tight or high spaces, and who wants a stable, well-paying career without the burden of college debt, this trade deserves serious consideration. The demand isn't going anywhere either. Buildings keep getting built, elevators keep getting installed, and every single one of them eventually needs someone who knows how to keep it running safely. Becoming an elevator mechanic isn't the easiest path, and it isn't the fastest either. But for those willing to put in 4 years of paid, hands-on training, the payoff is a career that combines strong pay, genuine job security, and the kind of practical, tangible skill set that never really goes out of style. In a world constantly talking about the value of a 4-year degree, the elevator trade quietly proves that a 4-year apprenticeship can lead to just as much financial success without the tuition bill waiting at the